retaliate against Odin. You stand your ground against the Erkin's threats and force him to back down. If Odin challenges you to a duel, unless a death is certain, any attempt to avoid it will only delay the inevitable, so it would be best to confront him now. And so, head held high, you place your hand on the hilt of your sword and take a step closer to Odin. Next come the words, your words, echoing loudly in the stunned silence of the city hall. Indeed, you are the judge in charge of Odin's case, and you will see it through to the very end. Your duty and your honor demand that you serve the Empire and enforce its laws, which apply to all its subjects. Yes, Odin will surely defeat you in a sacred duel, but the evidence you have gathered against him will see the light nevertheless. You are far from the only judge ready to challenge the most powerful nobles of the province in the name of the law, and no matter what, justice will find Odin and strike him down. Odin is stunned by your verbal assault. For a moment he remains motionless by the window, his face an azure mask. Slowly the commando Migra walks towards you, his heavy prison gaze transfixing you. You, a human, dare to threaten me? You calmly meet his eyes in total silence. Then suddenly a grimace of rage spreads directly in his face. His sword flashes like lightning. You barely have time to draw your own blade. The clanging of swords cuts through the stunned silence of the city hall. Odin lets out a torrent of strikes in an attempt to overwhelm you. Again and again you barely deflect them. The Erknian's command to the blade is impeccable. You cannot possibly stand your ground against him for long. You cannot find even a single opening to strike back as Odin's fierce assault drives you toward the window. A commanding voice calls out from the other side of the office. "Sir Odin, what do you think you're doing?" For a moment Odin stops. This is your chance. You prepare to strike him down as quickly as you can, but the commander Migra notices your movement. He steps to the side and runs you through with his sword. A cold wave washes over you as the steel enters your body. You slowly collapse onto the marble floor, barely able to move. Odin stands tall over you, panting with rage. "Sir Odin, what have you done? This is no honorable duel. It is a murder in the heart of the city hall, in front of the chairman of the court of honor, no less. I insist that you leave Brante alone from now on. One death is enough for him." Having caught his breath, Odin slowly wipes his sword and sheaths it again. "You forget yourself, Helverman. You're as much as human as he. Still, what you say makes sense. This just doesn't deserve my wrath. But if he ever tries to tarnish the name of Odin again, lie prone at the feet of your murderer, your hands clutching at the wound in your chest, a tiny speck of red on your white dress shirt. Black clouds in your vision. Your final thoughts freeze and slowly disintegrate as you leave your dead body and head for a glimmering white high above. Impenetrable darkness surrounds you. You stand alone, bare to your very essence. It paralyzes you. You have an urge to cover yourself, to hide. No one should see you so vulnerable. But you cannot conceal the truth in this place. You are bathed in an unbearably bright light. It has no hint of warmth in it. It is blinding. It leaves no shadows in the entire world. It is the light of the shining pillar itself. In this radiance, you can clearly see all your thoughts and doubts, your errors and transgressions, the contradictions that have permitted you since birth. They cover you from head to toe like proud grey tatters, but they melt away in this light. You are naked. You feel liberated and whole. It is as though all the wounds and cracks in your soul have been healed, make it the way it should be. It is as though the scales have fallen from your eyes. You see the true shapes of things now. These are the laws by which the words abide, the grand design that moves lives themselves. You tread the path that is barely visible in a blinding light, giving shape to everything. In this light you see the infinite complexity of the world, from the tiniest leaf to the enormity of the empire. And this world maintains its balance by virtue of the law that was embedded in it during the act of creation. Ahead of you, two figures are waiting on the path. They are gigantic, many times taller than a man. The elder holds a lash, the younger a sword. The younger gazes at you sternly, coldly. You kneel obediently before him and lower your head. The god raises his sword above you. This is divine retribution. There is no law without it, nor can there be. Every action has consequences. This is what shapes the world, making its very existence possible. This moment, beneath the gaze of the merciless God, you comprehend the law that binds the entire world together. Which manifestation of the law in will you live by? This is empire. Is this not the ultimate manifestation of the law, the great and incredibly sophisticated mode of existence of all people? Your destiny is your own manifestation of divine law. It is the law that has been with you since the day you were born. Your family is a model world, a tiny universe, and it belongs to you just as you belong in it. Your life's work shapes the world, and thus you influence the great law itself. You are an embodiment of the law. You have been made in accordance with the divine design. You define the design of the gods and the law that binds it together. So I will choose on my own, so let it be empire. Why empire? Because exactly empire it's a structure and law it's about rules, and there cannot be empire without rules, so that's why it's empire. Blade flashes. The youngest sword slashes through the air above your head. You do not deserve your final punishment. The law demands that you continue life. Your form has not been completely destroyed, nor has that of the world. The young extends his gigantic hand and shows you the way you must proceed. The path leads you to the top of the crown of the silver tree, spread wide in the white gleam. The branches are close now. It is time to descend. You are drawn downward into darkness. The shadows that had disappeared in the blinding glow creep around you and envelop you. It is to be expected, but the purity and clarity of spirit are still with you. Something is forcing your throat open. Yeah, it scratches you on the inside. The soul is filled with struggle again, with the contradictions from which the fabric of this world and you yourself are woven. The divine light that gave you clarity is fading away with each passing moment. You have to open your eyes. Above you is the dark ceiling of the crypt. You are reborn. You come to your senses atop the stone slab of your family crypt. For a while you do not move, slowly getting acquainted with your body, born anew. Your mother's somber silhouette stands above you, bowed in prayer. You hear her quiet, meek voice just as you did as a child. At last, you are back with us, Michael. My son, it pains so much to watch you sacrifice yourself so, all the sake of your Tate and your honor. You have 4 lives in this world by the twins' grace, each a precious gift. You are cast away the lowly lot of suffering, so I beg you, do not seek it anew. Steer clear of pain and wounds and deaths. The father appears in the doorway of the crypt, comes close and bows to you respectfully. Son, the entire city is talking about you and your sword fight with Odin. Even the highest aristocracy believes the commander of Margaret deserves all the blame for assaulting you without challenging you to a duel, where, while you acted like a true nobleman and defended the honor of the Brante name, you suffered a lesser death through no fault of your own. You leave the family crypt with a heavy heart. You have resisted Totten. He will not be clashing with you directly anytime soon, but his thought will continue to loom over you until his case comes to an end. We got some reputation, that's really great. Now we're really like dangerous enemy. Soon could be even battle hardened. Die twice, have one additional life, and willpower is less, of course. Houghton's case still looms over you, a burden and a threat. As the strife between the states grows more bitter, the judge's state grows tougher by the day. The commoners demand more rights and legal protections. The nobles do their best to push back. As things stand right now, any verdict made in court may result in upheaval in the province and possibly determine the outcome of your case against Otton. One day in a park, by the Files estates favored by dueling and Isotis nobles, you see a curly-haired young man lying prone in the small sunlit square. His body has been pierced by a sword and has not vanished. A true death. You are here to investigate a report on an illegal duel. Avina is still here, a slender middle-aged noble in an elegant black jacket, his hands still on the hilt of his sword, surrounded by gendarmes. Your orders, Your Honor. Sir Corvia will not submit on his own, and we wouldn't dare use force against him. You sign for the gendarmes to lower their weapons and approach the duelist. Corvia's eyes widen, his face comes to life when he notices you. Before you can ask him, the nobleman begins to speak, far louder than necessary. It was a duel sanctioned by the Court of Honor. That is all. Let your Alistair question my loyalty to the Emperor and call me an apostate. He left me no other choice but to defend my honor. And now he is dead. Please, be quick with your verdict, Sir Judge. I'm expected at the capital. You do know who I am, don't you? Before I can say a single word, a carriage bearing the crest of Magistrate Verman rolls through the gate. The magistrate furrows his silvery brow as he looks at the sorrowful scene, then gestures politely for El Corvio to approach his carriage. With a chuckle, the duelist walks through the line of gendarmes and leans on the carriage. Meanwhile, the magistrate takes you aside for a moment. Brante, as you know, I'm the chairman of our city's Court of Honor. I refused to sanction this duel for as long as I could, since true death was on the line. But Eleanor Corvin insisted that denying him would spell trouble for the city of Lanizotti. Regrettably, he is a small yet important person in the Emperor's court. He used to command the Emperor's personal guard. I realize that you must meet our justice as your duty demands, but remember, duels of honor are one of the cornerstones of the imperial tradition, one of the pillars that support the twins' divine vision for the empire. You have the authority to punish El Corvio, but be careful, he might make a dangerous enemy, both for yourself and for all the nobles of Lanizotti. That fool Alistair didn't know this, and now he's lying there before us. It would be wise not to repeat his mistake. Magistrate Lanizotti glances around and continues in a harsh tone. Brante, this situation is far from ordinary. If the fate of your city means anything to you, it would be best to let El Corvio go without a trial. Lanizotti doesn't need any trouble from the capital, and the Alistays are not as strong as they used to be. They'll get through it. You may find from him, if you wish, El Corvio will pay it and move on, and justice will be done, at least to some extent. However, if you can defuse the matter entirely, you'll earn favor with all the aristocracy of Lanizotti, and I'll personally see to it you get a swift promotion. Deep in thought, you gaze upon the body of the dead duelist and the lone shadow of Eli Corvia. The decision you're about to make could influence all future duels in the province, as well as your own standing. Um, so we cannot do that because we do not have enough diplomacy to pronounce the court of the honor illegal. Um, as well, we cannot legalize duels. But you can sentence Elcorvia to capital punishment. Your elite patronage allows you to have the murderer persecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Or we can just find Elcorvia. A semblance of justice will be served. So, what will you choose? Final Elcorvia or sentence Elcorvia to capital punishment?